Hey guys, my name is Dan, and today the new Boulder Cove expansion had came out. On August 29th, we finally got the most expected update of the year, and I'm very just happy to announce that it's finally here. Ever since back, and I believe it was 2019, or even the latest was 2018. However, we finally got the update, and by God has it just completely blown everything else out of the sky. So just to remind everyone, this will be going over update version 5.0.0.0. With this, there are 30 plus new buildings added to Boulder Cove, a couple of bug fixes, as well as some other map changes, and a brand new utility item. Anyways, so today I'm going to be basically going over points of interest that I believe are kind of going to be very important to the Boulder Cove town, and as well as basically where a lot of the RPs I believe is going to be taking place, because trying to show you guys every nook and cranny of every single building and every single room, including the sewer system, it would honestly take at least an hour or two. I remember when I was first taking a look at the town, looking for everything, trying to find everything, finding Easter eggs and such. I think I spent at least 2.5 hours looking through and just double checking and taking in and kind of just discussing everything. So rather than doing that, I will be showing you guys, of course, points of interest. But first, let's take a look at some of the other map changes. One noticeable thing that people who follow the story would kind of understand is the update to creative view. So as you could see on the screen now, basically it's blown to pieces. I mean, technically, I believe a fire-started orc was an artillery strike. Of course, I am not fully enticed with the story. However, I believe it was a mortar strike or an artillery strike that destroyed the biomass tree in the town, and unfortunately it's just completely eradicated. Half the town is still standing, the other half is just in ruins and shambles. So for those who basically had memories and kind of thought, oh, maybe we'll finally be able to get back in creative view. Well, technically, yes, you can, except you really have limited options. I also do want to just point out real quick that the little biomass bridge, I guess you could say, that linked the two mesas originally is also gone. So the only way to actually access the town is currently through the elevator. Some other additional map changes include new mesas. As you can see, we have a new mesa behind the Courthouse area, or kind of more behind the fire department, as well as a new mesa by the scrapyard here. One thing that has finally been fixed is an issue with saving character loads. Now, this issue was basically when you had a saved character already and you decided to basically take up and resave it with new different tools, or it could even be for when you join a server, you hit the load button on the character. There will be some times where some tools will not load, and then sometimes when tools do not load. Supposedly this issue has been fixed, however, only time can tell, because unfortunately I have not yet been able to replicate this. So far it seems that it works. However, again, we will need to just kind of give it a few days and let other people try to see if this fix actually was implemented. Another big issue was when head morph items were basically breaking character loads. By that I mean is if you were to put on a head morph accessory, basically it would just leave you stuck on a loading section. And again, this seems to have also been fixed, so that's also a great addition. And lastly, in terms of bug fixes, we now have a fix to a Molotov that will not have infinite reloading anymore. So now that with all that out of the way, you guys are here basically for a little quick tour of Boulder Cove. So once again, unfortunately, I will not be showing you guys the entirety of the town. If you guys really want to take a real quick tour, I would definitely recommend taking a look at Rocket Ridge's video. He did a very, very fast-paced tour of the entire town and basically just fast-tracked. He went through almost every single building and everything. However, I will be showing you guys basically what I believe are points of interest, or basically places where I think a lot of the RPs are going to occur. So the first place I want to show you guys is the Boulder Cove Firehouse. Now, for those who were back around in December to early January, if you guys remember the story of the fall of creative view, how fire trucks were used, a lot of people were kind of making that as like a whole how would I say it? Not really a conspiracy, but it was just a lot of people were upset because at that exact time, a lot of people kind of thought that the lore was just kind of put in there just to make the story better without it actually making sense. And that was just because of the fact that there was no fire department at the time when the story occurred. However, now we do finally have this firehouse, and in my opinion, it looks great. I've personally been inside a firehouse because I have a couple of friends in my local fire department, and I would say it's pretty much to a T. There's really no complaints, I would say. I mean, the only thing I would maybe say was to try to add in possibly a second floor. However, again, it looks pretty good. I really like how they implemented this building. Right next door, we're going to be taking a look at the Boulder Cove Courthouse now. This building definitely gives off the Deep Six type vibe for any of you guys who were around for that. But basically, it's just like a regular standard courthouse. I don't think I mean, a lot of people, I believe, probably have never been in one. I have, because I've had to serve on jury duty before. And relatively speaking, of course, every courthouse is different. However, I would definitely say that the interior of the actual courtroom itself looks great. As you can see, we have a jury stand, we have where the spectators would stand, and of course where the judge would actually preside the case. I just want to give a quick side note that there are two ways to access the rooftop. There is a little rope within the courtroom itself, as you can see here, and there is a little bit of a window awning and a rope ladder that you could climb up. So there are two ways to get up on the rooftop, and it gives you a really good, nice view of the town. Moving along, we're going to be taking a look at the Lakeview high-rise apartments. Now, of course, this will be also a very popular location, just due to the fact that this is the tallest building in the game currently. So, of course, when people are going to be RPing or kind of role-playing with like a larger group or something, having the height advantage is always the best idea. And basically, as you can see, this is about 5 to 6 stories high, with an amazing rooftop, and with an addition to get even higher. One thing I would like to note is that, of course, there is a little fire pit, as you could see here. Unfortunately, as of the day I'm recording this on the 30th, there has not been a patch yet to basically allow people to disable it or re-enable it. So it's currently on by default with the fire, with the lighting, and there is no way to actually turn that off or disable it. So I just want to keep that in mind for if you decide to RP there. Shifting over, we're going to be taking a look at the largest structure in Boulder Cove right now. This is the Terminus High School. Now, this high school is massive. I cannot stress that. It looks spectacular. There's a whole bunch of classrooms and such. It basically does remind you of a standard high school. And overall, there's just so many cool, unique things, such as the art room, the theater room, there's a chemistry lab, and a lot more. Additionally, part of the school is fortified, and there is only one entrance to get into. I'll be showing you guys that in a second. This building also spans across the road, as you can see by this bridge, and basically this smaller structure is just for administrative or kind of more or less office space for the school. Now, as you guys could see, there is one entrance through a window to get into this quote-unquote fortified section of the school. Once you enter in, as you can see, this basically looks more or less like a mini settlement, or directly at least looking at it, it's a storefront. However, as we're looking through and we're taking a look around, you can see that this place has a canteen, a little bit of a bedroom slash barracks room. There's a couple of other rooms that are kind of just left empty for you guys with prop placers, as well as another storage room. A majority of the windows and the doorways leading throughout the entire school are barricaded, so again, make sure you guys take a look at that through that one window entrance. Now, heading towards the very back of town, we're going to be taking a look at the new Lake Mead Cemetery. Now, I'm not going to be going over the funeral parlor, however, I'll be taking a quick look at the cemetery. There's not a lot to see on the surface. However, if you go through this doorway and go downwards, there's a little bit more to the story that meets the eye. As you can see on this little, I guess you could say tablet or a little table type thing, there's some blood all over it, and it kind of hints towards something with sacrificial or some type of religious meaning. But overall, I believe the cemetery is a pretty cool addition. Next, we're taking a look at Scrappy Jack's scrapyard. And of course, as I stated, this is where one of the new maces was placed, and basically this kind of reminds you a little bit of like the Myriad camp that was newly added, I believe, like a month ago or 2 months ago. For those who do have the prop placer, I believe that this location can definitely be accustomed to whatever you're doing. However, if you do not, I kind of feel like this location is just overall a little bit barren, in my opinion. Granted, I guess if you were to look at it realistically, there's no good value for actually being able to kind of like reside here or whatever. But generally speaking, having some sort of new location, especially like this, we haven't really seen in After the Flash before in any of the games. It's a very unique location, I definitely recommend you guys take a look at it. And lastly, we're going to be saving the best for last in my opinion, and this is the Interpark offices. Now when I say Interpark offices, I do not actually mean that as an office building. That is of course what they're called on the changelog. However, basically this is more or less an apartments complex. We do have underground parking, which again I will kind of go back to a little bit later. However, the mainstream in my opinion is the very top of the building. Again, most of these rooms on the ground floor, first and second floor, are majority of kind of the same but also uniquely different, kind of same as the Lakeview high-rise apartments. However, if you go to the very top floor, not the roof but the very top floor, there is one room that is basically a like presidential suite. As you take a look at it, that floor, it looks pretty fortified. It's got a whole bunch of stuff around. However, if you go down one more level, as you can see through this little hole, you can see that there's a lot more to take in. We can kind of see how there's a lot more in terms of like self-sufficiency. There's a lot of guns, a lot of ammo. But overall, I personally really enjoy this location. And if you guys want to kind of take my favorite building, I would say it's definitely this presidential suite in the Interpark offices. So that's going to be it for the points of interest. However, again, there are so many more locations I did not go over, as you can see just from this nice aerial view. And I do recommend you guys take a look at each building and just basically find out what you enjoy from it. Now, as I had stated in the beginning of the video, I will be doing a separate video on the Boulder Cove sewer system because that alone is quite extensive and there's quite a few things I'd like to show and explain with. But I do want to quickly show you guys 4 different entrances to the sewer system. The first one is right outside of the Interpark offices. As you can see, you can lift the manhole cover and you could climb on down and take a look and explore for a little bit. Another popular entrance would be actually at the Interpark garage. And if you kind of just come on down here real quick, you take a look through this door, you go through another door, and you're basically within the sewer system again. Another location that you guys saw on my previous video was right here between the hibachi restaurant and the Mexican cuisine. And again, that going down will lead you into the sewer system. And if you guys had seen my Strawberry Atom Cake video, you guys know where it's at. And lastly, if you come to the Upbeat Studios building, there is one more manhole lifted up and you were able to climb on down and explore. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This update is just quite big, and I think that yes, this video will also be quite long. However, I do believe that it's just necessary to kind of go over those important points of interest. As I stated, I'm going to be doing a separate video on the sewer system itself. I will also try to figure out and try to actually map it out for you guys, for you to take a look at it. But nevertheless, if you guys enjoyed the video, a like rating would be much appreciated to help boost the video analytics. If you did not like the video, make sure you guys dislike the video. Also, comment down below what's your favorite building and what's your favorite part of the update overall. I'm very curious to kind of see what your guys' take on this is. Again, my favorite building, in my opinion, would be the Interpark offices, that nice presidential suite. So make sure you guys subscribe for more Flashstorm content in the future. And again, a whole separate sewer video is going to be coming out within the next couple days, so stay tuned for that. But as I always say it, take it easy.